Hi guys, I'm back with another video. This was requested because I've recently just announced that I've improved my bone density through my diet. So a few people have asked me how I've done it. So I thought I'd share with you what I've done. I've got a few facts for you as well. So hopefully this will be quite useful for you. So let's crack in. So a couple of facts about calcium first, and then I can sort of talk about the tips I've got and how they relate back to the facts. So calcium is a mineral found in food, and that's what helps form your bones and keep them healthy and keep the density where they should be. We reach our peak bone mass by the age of 20, and then it slightly deteriorates as it goes on. So with regards to how much calcium we need, adults under the age of 50 need 1,000 milligrams of calcium, and then those over the age of 50 need 1,200 milligrams of calcium a day. So I aim for that 1,000 to 1,200 mark because of my condition again. So a couple of things about spinach and kale. I've got some sort of numbers for you. So kale comes in trumps on this one. So for a cup of kale, it has 315 milligrams of calcium. Spinach has 244 milligrams per cup. So they are two really good foods, and I think spinach is really easy to use because you can get baby spinach and have it in salads, so just on the side of your dinner. You can do what I did and have a handful in your smoothie in the morning, or just chuck it into your dinner. So I've chucked it into bolognese, chili, normally a curry. Every curry I make is pretty much chickpea and spinach. So there are a couple of tips for you. So also there's superfoods I was going to talk about. So I've got some different powders which can always help you. There's so many out there, so many now. There's so much I want to buy, it's ridiculous, but I've only got a tiny kitchen. So first one I'm going to talk about is wheatgrass powder. This is something I'm only just starting to experiment with. I'm going to chuck it into smoothies, I've decided, because as a shot it's not really for me, but it has 243 milligrams of calcium. So having that shot a day is just going to give you a little bit of a boost of your calcium levels, and there's so many more benefits to this as well. So high levels of potassium, calcium, iron and vitamin A. One of my favourite things is cacao powder. So basically chocolate in its rawest form. I chuck this in to hot coffee to make a mocha, to make a peanut butter chocolate smoothie, to make date balls. Literally just blend up nuts, some of this and some dates, and it's great. I'll do a video on that if you want to know how to make chocolate brownies, date balls, like anything. I've got 1,000,001 recipes. So this one is really high in calcium, but bear in mind cacao has got caffeine in it as well. So not as much as coffee, but if you are limiting caffeine, which I'll talk about in a second, it's something to bear in mind. So for 100 grams of this, there's 1,438 milligrams of calcium. So more than milk, it says here with an exclamation mark. It's got high levels of fibre, magnesium, potassium and iron, 6 times more iron than spinach. So imagine having that spinach and chocolate smoothie. Great. Which is Nutri-Green's various brands. This one is the My Protein one. So these are great. You just chuck them in a smoothie, and they've got so many different ones. This is ready to mix powder blend of 24 vegetable, plant and fruit extracts. Exercise is really important as well. So you need to do weight bearing exercise, which is going to improve your bone density, because basically it's using the muscle which is pulling on your bone, so it's making it stronger and stronger and stronger. So exercise wise, there's nothing in particular I'd recommend. You need to speak to your doctor about that and see what's right for you. You might love running, you might like walking, you might like cycling. For me, I looked up loads of different things, and when I've done the research, it turns out what I teach for a living is one of the best things. So I teach pole fitness and aerial fitness predominantly for a living, as well as Pilates and yoga. So these are all things that really work your body and your muscle tone, your strength. So that's perfect. So you find what's right for you physically, consult a doctor, and what you enjoy, and you'll be golden. So supplements, I take a multivitamin every day. For those of you with POF like myself, I also take my HRT, which does protect your bones. Vitamin D is really, really important to take because that helps your body absorb calcium from food or other supplements. So that's a really important one, because especially if you're in the UK like me, we don't get much sunshine, unfortunately, because it's sunshine which gives us the vitamin D, which will help us absorb the calcium. I also take fish oils, omega-3 oils as well, and every so often I take a magnesium supplement, which is always going to help. I don't take calcium tablets. I went to a specialist earlier in the year and she said, oh, because you're dairy free, you do need to take a calcium supplement. However, they have a really bad impact on your heart. And I was like, great. So not only have I got POF, I'm going to end up with a dodgy heart and crumbling bones, because they lost my bone scans basically, and they have now found them, and that's when I found out my bone density is good. So little history on that. In 2012 it was really, really low, especially in my hips, which showed the signs of osteopenia, which is the start of osteoporosis, and I was pretty gutted. Like, that's an understatement. I was devastated, absolutely devastated. So I just wanted to get that level up, and when I got that result, I literally opened it in my car and I rung my boyfriend, and I was just like, oh my god, my bone's normal. I was so happy. So anyway, then I put that. Good sources of calcium: almonds, Brazil nuts. It's also helpful to soak nuts overnight and then let them dry, because that helps release the calcium that's stored in them. Asparagus, dried apricots, berries. Who loves berries? I love berries every single day. Edamame beans, kidney beans, love kidney beans. Black beans, my new favourite. I love making a black bean chilli, absolutely love it. Kale, we spoke about. Spring greens, bok choy, spinach, broccoli. Broccoli is another favourite of mine. I love broccoli and carrot on the side of pretty much every meal. Avocado, well, who'd have guessed it? Avocado is just the most amazing food in the world. Of course it was going to be on there. Butternut squash, orange, oats, quinoa. Quinoa is another superfood. I think I'm going to do a superfoods video because that's a whole nother video. Seeds, we spoke about chia seeds. Flax seeds are really good as well. Sesame seeds and pumpkin sesame seeds. Yeah, they're good as well, but I meant to say sunflower seeds. Fortified milks, be that dairy and non-dairy. So a lot of almond milks and coconut milks are fortified with added calcium and vitamin D now as well. If you're not vegan, there's salmon as well. Salmon's a really good source of everything: omegas, protein, and your calcium levels. Tumeric is another superfood that's creeping in at the moment. I really want to do a little bit more research on it and play around with it because it just sounds incredible. Chia seeds, so chia seeds are really high in calcium. So 2 tablespoons of chia seeds contain more calcium than milk. So chia seeds, you can make chia pudding, you can chop them into salads, you can chop them on yogurt, put them in granola, porridge, smoothies. That's what I tend to do, put a tablespoon in smoothies. They are a superfood. If you do have dairy, then milk and cheeses obviously have dairy and calcium in them. So have a look at Fortified Products as well if you are dairy free or vegan, plant-based, because they are absorbed at the same rate and efficiency as cow's milk. So some things that you might want to avoid, and nobody likes being told to avoid things. A high salt intake can increase calcium loss in the body through your wee basically, and it can be shown to reduce bone density. So just limit the amount of salt you have. Limit it anyway, because it's not that good for you. You could maybe try and swap to like pink Himalayan salt just to make it a little bit healthier for you. Caffeine, try to limit the amount of caffeine you have. Try to keep it under 2 cups a day. Remember that there is caffeine in tea as well, so black teas, just check your tea label, it will tell you if it's naturally caffeine free. You could go to decaffeinated, but just be aware that it's been through more of a process to remove the caffeine, so it's not amazingly great for you. It'd just be better to limit yourself. So I tend to have about 1 coffee a day, just because I love coffee. I'm not addicted to it, I just love that coffee taste. So if you have too much caffeine, it can decrease the amount of caffeine. No, not caffeine you've got stored in your body. It decreases, oh my days, decreases the amount of calcium you store in your body. Smoking and caffeine can also lead to some bone loss, so that's worth sort of skipping out on. So to summarise on how I improved my bone density, yay, like yes, my bones is good. Greens. If you can be rubbish getting your greens, look into something like this. Chuck it in a smoothie, just knock it back. There's loads of them out there, so play around with them. Don't just try one and decide you hate it, because I've tried about 5 and they all taste completely different. But try and have fresh ones as well, so don't just rely on powders. Try to get fresh fruit and vegetables in there that have got high levels of calcium. Nuts, so nuts have got good levels of, you know, protein, all that stuff, your calcium as well. If you've got non-dairy milks, make sure you give the cartons a good shake up to get those fortified calcium stores out of there. Limit salt, caffeine and alcohol, and make sure you do exercise. Hopefully that has been beneficial to you. That's basic, that's literally all I did, and it's sorted, it's getting there, but I've got to maintain it now. So I hope that's been helpful. If you want any videos on superfoods or superfood recipes or anything else, then let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks.